We're out here at the sander, and we've taken our blanks and sanded them flat on one side. They're not square or set up or anything, but we did take the time to draw where our clips are going to go before we do the next stage. Some of these were thick enough that we actually resawed, and you get two pieces, as you can see. Here's a solid body one, no glue. It's cherry burl. It's a beautiful piece. Some got come out a little bit thinner, but that's okay. They're going to have a metal backing anyway. So once we draw this, what we're going to do is basically use the desander and just sneak up to the lines. Get ready for the smoothing and everything. All right. Right, now what we're going to do is just round over the edges just a little bit. Make sure you figure out which side is your bottom, which side is your top. Just remember which way is the top. You don't want to round over the bottom at all. At least I don't. You may want to. Makes it more look like a pebble in my, the way I see it after you round over the bottom. Just continue that through your whole entire grits. Alright, here's all of our wood blanks. They're all ready to go. What we're going to do is we're going to just take a little bit of this double-sided tape. You don't have to use this step. I just prefer to. And just flip your blank over on the side that you're going to use the glue with. And just put a piece of double-sided tape just like that, and then peel it off. And what I did is I got some of those popsicle sticks. I use the large ones like this, and I just cut them down. And I use the popsicle stick on the back like that. It gives me a little handle to hold on to so I can do all the finishing. And I went on ahead and put tape on each one of these, so I'm going to add the wood sticks. We're going to do all these at one time. Alright, as you can see, we got each one on a stick. Now I'm just using a Turner's finish. Exactly what it's called. I'm gonna dilute the first few coats, so it's more of a sealer coat. You could take these and spray these with lacquer. You can do all kinds of stuff that you want with them if you know how to do special type of finishes. By all means, please do it. This is how I do it. It's like an amber color, but it dries pretty clear. Just adding a little water. What we have here is this little rotary tool buffing wheel. Some buffing compound. I just rub mine in like this. Load up the wheel just a little bit. I take the piece that I want to put it on. And I just lightly go over it. Get some of that compound on the surface. And then buff with the flat side. See how the surface is all covered with that buffing material now. Put it down, drop your pad on its side, and just buff. Much better. Looks great. It's that curly pink ivory in there. Piece of clean paper towel. Lightly wipe it. Now that's ready to be glued down. Maybe I might slightly hit the back side with some sanding just to make sure there's nothing on there to hinder it from sticking. And you do that to each and every single one. Take time. You're just kind of buffing out those little brush lines. You'll never get them all. I mean, a sprayer works the best, but I don't have one. And the sides are shiny enough that you don't need to do the sides. You may just touch them with the towel, but they're going to get one more coat of like a paste wax at the very end. A little bit on this side right here. The reason I don't put this in a rotary tool, I mean you can, a buffer, but I like to keep control because this type of finish can marble or heat up or something really quick and ruin the finish, so the less heat the better. I'm just trying little circles. That looks really good. Pretty clip. Alright, I'm going to go through and do that to each and every single one of them, and then we're going to glue them down next. Alright, we've got our fancy clamps. Our mini clips, what we need to do is rough them up like this. So you take this side that you're going to glue to, and we're going to sand them down to make them rough. The rougher the better. Don't want to sand too much. I mean, you don't want to make the metal weak, but you definitely want to add tooth somewhere for the glue to like get in all those little cracks and crevices. The back of the clips, the wood is exactly the same. It's all nice and rough, and it just makes a great bond. I use E6000. This stuff stinks. It's horrible. You don't want to get it on your hands, but you know it works. It's a good product. It's industrial strength. Make sure when you do this, after you do, you put it in a nice ventilated area away from you. You may even want to do this in a ventilated area. I'm going to probably just show you a couple here on video real quick inside, so I don't have to smell this too much, and then probably finish the rest outside or in the garage or somewhere else. Alright. So as you can see here, we went on ahead and just sanded those. I threw them under this sander just to rough up the surface. It's just much faster. You can do it by hand if you want, you know. On these new ones that I opened up that are super shiny, I will sand this or brush this back with a brush. They just collect fingerprint after fingerprint. They don't wipe clean. I just think they look horrible compared to a brushed one. You don't see the fingerprint. So when you pull out your money clip, you don't have to worry about it. The ones that show fingerprints wouldn't be bad for a little trap. Pick it up, leave fingerprint. It's hard to get clean afterwards. All right. So here's my glue. I recommend having tons of paper towel around. I recommend you wear gloves. If you've never done this before, especially. Like I said, this stuff is very smelly. What I do is I take my blank, have my clip ready, take my glue, and let's put it on here. I remember it's easier to do it on here. this. And we just center it. The way I usually do it is I took some of these clothespins and I put a little piece of sandpaper there so it'll actually grab hold and just kind of hold everything still. You don't need a lot of pressure with this glue. It's just going to ooze out. I usually don't wipe them because if you let it dry or cure, it's easy to remove. And then all I'm looking for is making sure I have the end lined up. That's it. Just like that. Just double check. I'm using my fingers as the gauge. I'm not pulling out a ruler. You can use your eyes, you can look. Double check your reveal that comes across right there. Some of them might be higher, some of them might be lower, but for this particular clip, it's just like this. And as you redo these, they move, so be sure just to double check. You can start seeing the stuff oozing out the sides. I'm just going to let it. As long as it's not moving. It needs to scoot over just a little bit. So I'm going to have to re-pinch these. Well, to another area. Alright, so what we're going to do here, we're just going to take our clamps off. Took some of them off already. Now these have not fully cured yet. I like to do this before it cures all the way. Take all my special little clamps here. Alright. So you see how I've got this little bit of glue that comes out the sides. You just peel it off. Don't peel too hard. We don't want to pull the glue out between the two surfaces. But we just want to get that glue off that edge. Comes off real easy. Even when it's sits a little longer, it can still come off pretty easy. Just take your time. If you use an X-Acto knife, make sure you're cutting away. That way when the air cuts faster than the material, you don't cut yourself. So before we do the last part, which would be rubbing this with like an oil finish, or a paste wax with some kind of like orange oil or lemon oil or something inside of it, that will be enough to seal. The oil will go into this raw wood edge right here and seal it up. That's why you don't do it first, because if you do any kind of finishing or putting the oil type of finish on there, it'll soak into the wood and actually stop this from adhering. But you want to make sure that your glue is cured, so a couple days